What is going on, everyone? Welcome. It is time to start a brand new streaming week here on DSPGaming. Now, it is a slightly shorter week, but it's a great one, including a good variety of games, new and old, continuing on, and even trying to wrap up a playthrough or two so we can move on to new stuff. Also, the last Smart Guys episode before WrestleMania, very exciting, and more. Today on the show, we're going to recap the awesome streaming day that was Friday, including my return to Minecraft over around 5 years away from it and how it went. But in addition to that, this morning, we're going to be watching Marathon's reveal trailer. That is right. Bungie finally made another game after a decade of focusing solely on Destiny. What is it? Is it any good? We're going to find out live as I react to gameplay. All this and more on today's week beginning, chill, fun, jam-packed episode of the Level 1 Podcast.
Get ready for some meaningful content, because the king is back, the king of the live stream, the king is back. Woo! Because the king is back, the king of the live stream, the king is back. Oh!
All righty. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. Today is Sunday, the 13th of April, 2025. I'm DSP. The king is back, baby. Let's do it. Let's start a brand new week, my friends, because we got a lot going on this week, and I'm excited for it. Although my hair is still out of control. Hopefully I can get a little bit more in control today. I don't know. It's been pretty wild. Anyway, I hope that you all had a good Saturday away. I did. It was a very chill, relaxing day with my wife. I very much enjoyed it. I didn't have a ton of stuff to do, so I just basically did a few quick errands and then spent a lot of time at home relaxing. We had some great food. Yesterday, we ended up ordering dim sum and had an amazing variety of different dumplings and buns. We had these pan-fried rice buns with pork inside that were absolutely amazing. We had a shrimp dumpling that with green onion that was so packed with shrimp, it was amazing. There was a pork and shrimp shumai, and even a new one that I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a combination of like a spicy sauce with peanuts and meat. They were amazing. All right, so it was a really good day of just relaxing. My wife actually tried out Grounded on Game Pass because she was just curious about it. She had heard about it for years. I hadn't played it since like the early beta or whatever. And Grounded essentially is Minecraft. Like, I'm not kidding. It plays just like Minecraft. Everything that they've designed in that game is basically a copy of Minecraft, only it's with bugs, and you're shrunken. But it's pretty much almost the same game. And I was like, a little weird that they really bit off Minecraft that much. She played it for a couple hours and kind of got bored and was like, nah, it's just not for me. And I was like, well, just so you know, like that formula is the formula of Minecraft and a whole bunch of other survival games. So if you don't like Grounded, you're probably not going to like Minecraft and these other games too. Because my wife had actually watched some of my Minecraft stream from the other day and was interested in maybe trying it herself. But then she tried Grounded instead and didn't like it. And I was like, well, you're just not going to like Minecraft then. So anyway, outside of that, some relaxing stuff, watch some TV together, and overall a good day. I'm going to put this guy somewhere different. I'm going to put him over here. Now that he was there for a whole week, he was actually distracting me because I'm looking at the sword. I'm like, oh, he's standing there. He like stands out. Let's get him to the side. We can see this sword in its entirety. There you go. So a week since my birthday and a week into being 43 years old, what are my thoughts? It's pretty good. I'm enjoying myself. I had a really great week this last week. If you guys don't know, we did a whole bunch of fun stuff. Tried the new game Blueprints for the first time. Enjoyed it. Looking forward to more this week. Got back to Minecraft for the first time in 5 years. The stream went well. Continued on with existing playthroughs. In fact, the only thing that I'm disappointed about was Friday night. And if you're wondering why, it's because Friday night we did Friday Night Fights. All right. And Friday Night Fights was classic Street Fighter, where I played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 against, my former teammates, VDO and Tony from Connecticut. And I actually had a couple more people on deck, but then they couldn't make it at the end. So it was just me against randoms for the last hour. And I was so frustrated because here I was trying to play classic fighting games. And once again, it seemed like lag was giving me issues where either my moves were dropping entirely. I would do low fierce punch fly with Sentinel, which is one of the easiest things you could do in the game. And I would just get low fierce punch nothing, and I'd be stuck and get immediately comboed, and that's the end of the game. Or the game was massively rolling back. And that just kept happening where I was playing and I would do something, it would show something on my TV, and then it would rewind the match to say, oh no, this other thing happened. Now you're getting messed up. Like, wait, what? It showed me doing the right thing with the right timing, and then you reversed the input. Like, how am I supposed to play the game like that, right? So, come to find out, after that stream ended, okay, I was scratching my head because if you remember, a few weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, I had played VDO, and we had a really great set, actually. The set that we had done was a lot closer and a lot more fun. And I think it was like 6-10. Now, this time I only won one match, and I'm like, what happened here? And I was thinking, what could have possibly caused it? And then the light bulb hit. Ding. And guys, at this point, I just get frustrated because, as I've told you guys, I absolutely am so happy that my setup now, that everything that I do, I get to do in the highest quality, right? The best visuals, everything running at the absolute best 4K resolution on certain games. No input delay or anything with my joystick, with my stuff. Guess what? I had my TV on 4K. So basically, I was playing the game at 1080p, but it was upscaling it to 4K, adding a significant amount of input delay when I was playing it on Friday. It gets so frustrating because honestly, the only games I need to play at 1080p are competitive online games like fighting games and Call of Duty. That's it. Everything else, I can leave my TV on 4K and it looks amazing. Today we're going to play Atom Fall. That game looks good at 4K, right? The graphics are good. Why would I ever want to change it? And a lot of the times when I change it to 1080p for these competitive games, I then forget to change it back. So I just leave it on 4K all the time. And it completely slipped my mind. I played the entire 2.5 hours, all frustrated, raging, screaming about the netcode, and then it's my fucking TV. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So it sucks. It basically was a whole wasted night. What wasn't representative of what it could have been because I had input delay because my TV was at too high resolution. So this is what I mean about having a modern, awesome setup. Is there's tons of advantages. The vast majority of games that I'm playing, you guys are seeing at 1440p, which is really great quality. I'm getting to see them at 4K. They were really good. And I'm really enjoying being a PC gamer, don't get me wrong. But this by far is one of the biggest pitfalls of being a PC gamer is that you can have these issues and then the next thing you know, you're screwed. You're like, wow, well, yeah. So I don't even know. I can't really apologize. I can't really do anything about it. The stream was what it was, and I know it was a frustrating stream. Everyone was like, damn, you should just take a break from fighting games. And the thing is, this week being a shorter week, I am. Like, we're not doing fighting games this week. I'm skipping fighting games entirely this week, and I don't know if I'll do them the next week or not. Okay, we'll have to think about it. But, sheesh. Monitor wouldn't help. Oh, no, I see what you're saying. Usagi Jojo, I thought he was saying get a monitor. No, he said, it was the TV or monitor that gave you the input lag. No, it was when you play a game at one resolution, I have all my fighting games and Call of Duty set to 1080p. but the TV was set to 4K. So all that happened was it upscaled the 1080p to fit the 4K TV, which creates input delay. It adds, a chunk of input delay to it. So, yeah, I screwed myself. I did. That's why I would never willingly play a competitive game at 4K. You always play at 1080p and 120 hertz if you can. If the game doesn't support 120 hertz, then you play it at 60. And, I completely screwed myself there. So, anyway, so my apologies. We'll see what happens in 2 weeks, because I'm not playing fighting games this week regardless. We'll see if I decide to bring them back or if we just give them a big break and I come back for the new game. The new collection comes out in mid-May. It's the one that has Capcom vs. SNK 2 in it. And a few other games. It has the Power Stones. I think it has Capcom Fighting Evolution, which is awful. It's a really bad game. We'll see. All right, but I don't know if I want to go back to fighting games now or just give them a break. Notably because we got so much going on. We've got people asking me to bring back certain shows and the like, and it's hard for me to decide what to do. So, let's begin with a few shout-outs. Let's begin with talking about the goal for the week. And let's begin recapping a little bit of the Minecraft that we did on Friday, which went really well, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm looking forward to more this week, so we'll talk all about that stuff. And then we're going to get to Marathon. Okay, so for those who don't know, Bungie, as a company, has literally made one game in the last 10 years, Destiny. And before people say, oh, but what about Destiny 2? No, I said that. I said Destiny. It's the same game. You understand that Destiny and Destiny 2 are literally the same game. They always were. Okay? So they made one game in a decade. Before then, Bungie was known for Halo. And they were pretty good at Halo. I mean, made the whole Halo trilogy. And, they were great games. Then they started making 100 spin-offs, which I didn't like so much, right? And then I think the last one they made was, Halo Reach? And then they sold it off to Microsoft. And they decided they wanted to play or make a new game, which is Destiny, but Destiny is just Halo. If you don't believe me, go watch Halo, the old ones, and then watch Destiny 1. You'll see it's exactly the same game with just a few tweaks to make it an MMO, but it's Halo again. So, in the entire last 20-some years, Bungie has literally made one game. It's true. They've literally made the same game over and over and over. They haven't done anything else. Well, once upon a time, back in the 90s, all right, Bungie actually made a different game called Marathon. And this was a thing that they were hoping was going to possibly turn into like a big franchise, and didn't really. And then they made Halo and it blew up on Xbox, and that's what they focused on and kind of dropped Marathon and never went back to it. So now here we are, over 20 years later, and it looks like Bungie's bringing back Marathon. Now, I have not seen a single moment of Marathon at all. All I've seen are stills, like screen grabs, that have been thrown up on social media, and I've seen some people's opinions, and pretty crazy, these opinions. Some people seem ultra hype. Some people seem to be completely tearing the game a new one. I'm going to reserve my judgment till we watch, because today we're going to watch some Marathon gameplay from what they revealed. And I'm going to give you my honest thoughts and opinions on it, from the get-go here. And we'll see what we think. I don't know. Here's the thing. I would love to have another first-person shooter compete with Call of Duty, because we haven't had it in a long time. I would argue the last year where we had major competition for Call of Duty was probably Halo Infinite. And that was many years ago, and we all know how 343 Industries completely dropped the ball on that. They had a good thing going, and then they just completely fumbled it, and now no one plays Halo Infinite anymore. The game's essentially dead. So, will we actually have, real competition for Call of Duty? Will this be a viable first-person shooter that everyone will want to play? Or will this be another flop? We'll take a look at it together, all right? But before all that, let's do some shout-outs. First of all, what I would like to say is, to those of you who are ongoing recurring subs on my Kick channel, thank you. For example, just some of the people who had ongoing recurring subs that auto-updated over the last 2 days when I wasn't here. We had Darkside File, Chapello, the Honorable Judge Cashman, Spoiled 8919, and Prime 3000. So thank you guys. I see that in my queue that those auto-updated, and I appreciate that we have these ongoing subs. Helps a lot. And thank you for watching and supporting my efforts to co-stream on Kick. Okay. Now, as for support this morning, we start off with Gamer Stevie J, who did a $10 super sticker. And I want to get that up on the leaderboard before we do anything else because it was a super sticker, it actually doesn't show up in my queue because there's no pop-up on YouTube for it. Although it's a perfectly valid contribution, I really don't know why YouTube doesn't show it. It's a little weird in that regard, in my opinion. I do believe that YouTube should be doing pop-ups for super stickers, but they don't. Thank you, Gamer Stevie J. Appreciate that. We have a couple of tips that have come in this morning. Let's shout those out. We start off today with a $5 tip from Flatman B, who says, "What's up, everybody? Jesus bless you all and positive vibes." Thank you so much, Flatman, for getting our tip support started today. Always much appreciated. Good stuff there. And see here. Obviously, the $1 tip. Someone is asking me, did you ever hear about Sonic Rumble? It's a free-to-play game on Steam. Let's Fall Guys with Sonic the Hedgehog characters. No, I did not hear about that at all. I did not know it existed. Sounds silly. I wonder if there's a player base for it, right? So here's the deal. Here's what we should do. I would like to talk about, number one, our upcoming goal at 20 goals hit. And then I would like to talk about our milestone goal at 50 goals hit. And I want to talk about what just happened in the last week. All right. So last week, as you guys know, it was my birthday. Because of that, I got ridiculous levels of support. And I'm so grateful for that. Thank you guys. You helped me out tremendously with that. You have. Really, seriously, awesome, awesome, awesome. Had a great birthday marathon, had tons of support over the week. In fact, if you are not aware, I've hit, I want to say, 7 straight streams, I believe. Let me think about this. It was Friday. It's been 7. It was 7 straight streams. 7 straight streams where we're hitting goals. Thank you for that very, very much. That helps a ton. That keeps me going, allows me to get whatever I need for my setup, drop or buy any game, do anything we need to do. It is very, very much appreciated. Okay? So 2 thumbs up and thank you so much for this ongoing support. You guys are awesome. Now, last week was my birthday. The birthday marathon was so well supported. It was actually one of the best streams I've ever done in reality. The only times that I really would beat a stream like that was, ages ago. I had a couple people who would come by and drop like an insane $2,000 tip, which doesn't happen anymore. Or, for example, last year's cooperative collab stream where I did the react to the Review Tech documentary, right? Those kind of streams are just insane. But for like normal stuff, that was one of the most supported streams I've ever had, probably like top 5. All right. Because of that, we hit a ridiculous amount of goals. In the last week, just think about everything that's happened in the last week. Okay. We did the McDonald's Minecraft meals, right? Before that, we did something else and I wanted to hurry and do it. Was it Chick-fil-A? I think it was the Chick-fil-A that we did. Then it was the Minecraft meals. Then it was taco time. And then it was Little Caesars, all within like a week. Now, that's insane. I never eat that much takeout in a week. And it was hilarious because I said to my wife when we were going to grocery shop yesterday, are you aware that I hit so many goals and so many DSP tries in the last week? We had like meals left over we didn't cook for like 3 days. So this week, I went grocery shopping. I only had to shop for like 2 meals. That was it because we had all this leftover food to make the meals for this week coming up because we hadn't used them. So, the good news about this is, all right, goals being hit and everything, but the bad news is we had moved so quickly. that we didn't have time to even really plan out goals, and we had been rushing them and not really doing the stuff we normally would do. For example, when we hit every 50 goals, we do a special event. Well, we were already doing the birthday marathon. So it kind of just made sense to stick with doing another, do the birthday marathon and then do another DSP Tries It rather than do another marathon, because let's be honest, no one's going to show up for 2 marathons in a row, and certainly it's not going to get great support. So that's what we did. Now, what I'd like to do is get back on track. Every 10 goals hit, we do a DSP Tries It or another mini goal reward. We think about what it is. And then at 50 goals hit, which if we stay at the pacing that we're on, we will hit 50 goals likely around the end of April or early May, which would be perfect because then we could do a marathon about a month after my birthday marathon. Okay? So sounds good to me. Hope that sounds good to you. But the question is, what would we like to do? So let's talk briefly about that. I have another shout out to do. See? So I'm going to address this. Just dumb shit, moron. Okay. Ignore the idiot. So at 20 goals hit, the idea we have right now, which by the way would be in only a few days. We'll hit 20 goals within roughly 3-4 days, depending on how things go. We're going to do DSP Tries It, Popeyes, their new pickle menu. So they have a new pickle glazed chicken sandwich, okay? And they have a new pickle lemonade. Now, the pickle glazed chicken sandwich sounds interesting. Could be good. I like pickles, and frequently you put pickles on a chicken sandwich. It tastes great. A pickle lemonade sounds pretty gross. Like, listen, I like pickles, but I wouldn't just grab a jar of pickles and start drinking the juice out of the pickle jar. All right? That's nasty. But that's what they've done. They've actually taken some pickle juice and added it to lemonade and said, oh, it's a new drink we invented. I'm not sold on that. It doesn't sound like a new drink. It just sounds like you combine something that doesn't go with that, and now you're saying it tastes different, but it sounds stupid. But you know what? Maybe I'm off base. Maybe it is good. I don't know. So I kind of want to try it. Now, in addition to that, Popeyes added wings, and they've been pushing them heavily, and I haven't tried them. So while we're trying the pickle menu, I can also order some of the wings, and we can do a live taste test of the wings as well. So that way we're kind of doing everything at once, and it's an interesting DSP Tries It. Okay? So I think that's what we're going to do at 20 goals hit. The good news here is we're slowing down. We're calming down to normalcy, right? We're not going to be hitting 5 to 10 goals in one day. Because if you remember, the week before my birthday, we had a day where we hit like $1,200 of support. Then we hit over $2,000 on my birthday. So because of that, we hit like 2 extra goals within a week. It was wild. It was so like uncontrollable. I don't think that's going to happen this week. I think this week is going to be normal, or maybe every stream will hit a goal. If we're lucky, we may have a few slower streams. So likely, if you do the math, another 5 goals could be another 3-4 days. We'll see. Maybe 2 if we're lucky, if we have a lot of support. But it's looking like, probably Tuesday-ish, Wednesday-ish, Thursday-ish, maybe. We'll do DSP Tries It, okay? So that's what we're going to do for now. Now, in the meantime, I rely on you guys if you know of anything going on that's interesting. Hey, this place has a new food, a new drink. Hey, there's something else going on we'd like to see you try, or maybe there's an idea for a different goal rather than DSP Tries It. As usual, I'm all ears about that. I want to hear about it. Please share your ideas, your thoughts, things you discover here on my streams. I would love to hear it. All right? Cool. So that is the upcoming goal at 20 hit. But what about the big milestone goal at 50? Because we technically had my birthday as the milestone goal at 100. Let's do something special for 50. So here's what we're going to do. A marathon. But I think this is my idea anyway. You guys could certainly counter if you don't think this is a good idea. I think we should do Viewer's Choice again. If you remember, we did a Viewer's Choice marathon back in February. And what is Viewer's Choice? It's a marathon where you guys nominate and then vote on games for me to play during that marathon setting, in the hopes that hopefully some of these games will be things that will be discovered as good playthrough material for the future. For example, last marathon, okay, we did, well, not last, but the last Viewer's Choice Marathon, I should say. We did a variety of games, and some of them were fun to play just once and then never play again. But the one that I played and I absolutely loved was Onimusha. And so we went on to continue playing Onimusha, and it became a full playthrough. That was really fun, and now I'm excited to play the Onimusha 2 remake that's coming out in a month or two, and the new Onimusha that I guess is coming out next year. So this is awesome. That's always been the incentive of Viewer's Choice, is for you to try to introduce me to games and IPs that I'm not aware of, so that now I can maybe turn these into future content. And so I'm pleased it went just like that in the February marathon. So I'm thinking maybe that's what we should do. But at the same time, I'm also thinking, if you remember in March, we had a really fun Five Nights at Freddy's marathon. And during the Five Nights at Freddy's marathon, there were a couple games there, notably Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 4, which I believe is called Sister Location, where those were also very fun. And people said, hey, would you ever go back and play any of these Five Nights games? And I said, yeah, I would try to beat the first one. And I would maybe go back and play more of the fourth, because the fourth seems to have this really in-depth lore and story that's kind of fun. All right. But at the same time, man, I really enjoyed the throwback retro rageathon of classic Mega Man games that we had done in January. And I'm actually craving going back and doing another marathon like that at some point, because I still have Mega Man 4 through 6 from the Legacy Collection to play. So I have all these ideas, right? Like, damn, these are all good ideas for the next marathon. So what do? I don't know. We could talk about it on streams. We could certainly do a combination. Like, for example, we could actually have a viewer's choice, but you guys pick, hey, maybe you pick one Five Nights at Freddy's game that I'll play during the marathon. Maybe pick one or two new games I've never played before. Maybe I just do Mega Man 4 or something, right? So, I don't know. You guys tell me. I'd be all ears, all right? Let's see what people come up with. I'm being asked by two people, one person on YouTube and one person in the Kick chat, what did I hear about, or do I want to try Steve's lava chicken sandwich at Burger King? No, I haven't heard of it. In fact, yesterday, I was looking at food because, on my day off, I always order food. And I check fast food stuff, not necessarily because I'm going to eat it on my day off, but because I want to see what's out there. For example, DSP tries it, and they don't have that. Yeah. There is no Steve's lava chicken sandwich at Burger King. I'm looking right now. It's not there. So whatever you're talking about, it ain't real, or it ain't there yet. Maybe it's coming, right? But it's not available yet. Yep, it's not there. It's not on their website either. So maybe this is an upcoming promotion you're talking about, but it is not there yet. Thanks for bringing it up, but yeah, once it becomes available, then I would maybe look into it. We haven't done Burger King in a while, right? It's been a good amount of time since we did one. Shout out to Big Mac, who has re-upped their membership on YouTube, but it counts as a fresh one, so they must not have had it active. Thank you so much, Big Mac, for the membership. Let's get that on the leaderboard. Oh, there's two G's in his name? Oh, there you go. When we're talking about Burger King and Big Mac ups his membership. Okay. Very good. I received a $1.35 tip from Walrus Nipples, who says, would you do a retrospective event at 50 Gold? We haven't done one in many years. Or what about a closet clean out? Well, let's talk a little bit about these ideas, okay? A retrospective event. Well, I haven't really done one in a while. You're right. Usually what a retrospective event is people will nominate, anything from my past. It could be a certain playthrough or a certain part of a playthrough. It could be a montage or a countdown. It could be a review. It could be a podcast or a vlogging show. It could be a DSP tries it, okay? It could be travel vlogs, all right? So whatever it is, people nominate what they feel are great moments in my history. And then what I do is I go through and we do a whole marathon where we just react to that content all day long. And it's usually a very chill event where we just relax and we enjoy my 17-year history as a YouTuber. And we haven't done one in many years, you're right. I think part of that reason is that last year with the Throwback channel, I was doing the retro react streams where we were watching old playthroughs, and that kind of served the purpose of it. But we haven't done that since December. So you're right. It's definitely been a while since we did anything retrospective wise. And I think maybe that's a good idea because for variety, we haven't done one in a long time. Now, the question is, how exciting is that to you guys as a viewing audience? Do you think that seeing me do a retrospective event is exciting and fun or not? I want to do something that's going to motivate people to contribute to get to this event. I feel that viewers' choice is always a good choice because that's the most interactive with you guys. All right. I think that the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff worked really well as a marathon. And so, that could work again. And the Mega Man Marathon was the first one we did this year when we were doing these new goals hit. And it was very fun to see me try to tackle the classics while drunk, let's be honest. So I don't know. That's a good idea, in my opinion, the retrospective, right? Now, the other idea, what was it? Can we rewind the stream? Guys, what was the other idea that Walrus Nipple said? Because they said retrospective, there was a second one, correct? What was the other one? Someone remind me because I'm 43 years old now. So my mind is like Swiss cheese and ideas go in and out of my ears. Someone rewind the stream. Closet clean out. Thank you. So over 2 years ago now, right? Wasn't it over 2 years ago? I want to say it was the summer of 2022. Was it? I think it was. I did a closet clean out and my closet was so effing cluttered, like ridiculously cluttered with crap that I threw out a whole bunch of stuff as a result, and I reorganized my closet. And if you remember, that's when I actually set it up so that it could actually have all my vests hanging, my hats were organized. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff got organized nicely. But that was several years ago because, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to show you is that currently my closet has once again become a cluttered mess. Are you ready for this? So that's my closet currently. And as you can see, my vests are hanging. Look at the floor. My whole closet is like that. I'm not kidding. So here's what happened. All right. Basically, I changed my setup. And as I changed my setup, I was buying stuff. I was adding it. The boxes, I have a whole bunch of stuff there for my backgrounds now that I'm kind of rotating around and alternating between. And it's a cluttered mess again. Like, no exaggeration. I could take a whole stream, clean this out, reorganize. I'd probably throw out a whole bunch of boxes, a whole bunch of extra shit I don't need anymore because some of it's from my old setup that I don't need anymore. So we could do a closet clean out for sure. We could do it. It would happen. It could work. But I don't know how entertaining that would be for you guys. We already did it once a few years ago, and definitely it needs it again. It's a huge cluttered mess. But that's up to you. All right. And Usagi Jojo says, well, why do you have all the vests if you don't wear them anymore? But there you go, because I haven't done anything with the closet. Those vests have been hanging in the closet for 2-3 years when I was wearing them and everything. And now you're right, I don't use it anymore. So maybe I pack it up, right? Maybe I get a bin and I fill the bin with all the vests and the hats and we retire them for now. And that would give me a lot more space in the closet to work with. I'd have the whole top shelf to store stuff. I'd be able to stack stuff. You're right. So maybe that's part of the purpose of the closet clean out is we go through all the vests and the hats and we retire them, we store them, right? So we could do that at 50 goals as well. See, we have all these good ideas now, and this is good. It's good to have a bunch of interesting ideas that people like, as opposed to having no idea what to do. That's what happened with the birthday marathon. We didn't know what to do. Now we have a ton of good ideas. So for me, I would say viewer's choice always works well. Okay, so I think viewer's choice is a great idea. The closet clean out could work. There's a lot of ideas here. Let's talk about them. All right. Let's talk about all of them and try to flesh them out and see which one you guys want the most. Truth be told, we could do all of them. It's just a matter of time of hitting these milestones of 50 goals to do these marathons. But what order do we want to do, right? Yeah, how about that? That's an idea. Big Mac says, what about a final farewell vest stream? Well, what about this? How about we do a closet clean out stream, and every $100 that we raise on the stream, I put on a different vest or hat or both. I just keep swapping throughout the course of the stream as a send-off to those because we're not using them anymore, right? We're retiring them. So since it's like the retirement stream for the whole silly gimmicks of wearing stuff on stream, and we could do like a send-off stream. That could work. And then each time I wear the vest for the last time, I pack it up. We hit another $100 of support. I take the vest off, I put it inside the storage bin, and we put on the next one until we go through all the vests and all the hats and everything. Because we could do that every $50. It's a new hat. Every $100, it's a vest, and we retire them all. I'm actually liking this idea more and more because it means I could get that shit out of the closet, put it in storage, but it has a final use, like a final send-off. Yeah, it would be the final send-off episode for all that silly stuff. Time for bubble blow. We could have a final bubble blowing with the bubble guns. And then I'll immediately clean it so that way my office isn't disgusting. Yeah, we can get rid of it's the last call, the final send-off for the vest and hat stuff. Why not? There you go. You want to do that at 50 goals? Of course, that means that we also have to clean the closet out, which isn't going to be the most entertaining thing. It'll be more entertaining if I'm taking shots. That's for sure. Excuse me. Call it the end of an era stream. Yeah, there we go. At 50 goals, it's the end of an era marathon. Retiring the vests and hats, cleaning out the closet for good this time. Because here's the thing. The closet wouldn't have been messy if I didn't change everything in the last year. But since I changed everything and now I bought all this new equipment, the old equipment just got tossed in there. And there's all these new boxes and shit from the new equipment. So yeah, the end of an era stream. We fully head into the future with new technology, new visuals, and we retire the old gimmicks for good. There you go. All right, that's a good idea. So we could do that, or we could do viewer's choice. Let's talk about these ideas. This is actually some pretty good ideas. Thank you, guys. This is why I like doing the podcast is interactive and fun with you guys because we figure stuff out like this that works. And now we can start hyping stuff up and getting people excited. That's cool. Okay. I received a $2 tip. And it says, beware. Okay. Beware indeed. Thanks. Beware. Whatever that means. Okay. Maybe that's his name. Maybe his name is Beware. All right, guys. So we are at $22 of support so far. We're about to move into new topics, but thank you guys so far for the early support. 7 straight streams of hitting goals. Can we keep that momentum alive? Can we hit the goals today? It's not the end of the world if we don't, but it sure would be great if we do, if we keep that momentum rolling. Obviously, this Popeyes, DSP tries it sounds pretty good, now that we fleshed out that idea. So let's do it. Let's hit some goals today. Let's get some support. In fact, how about this? It's a new week. So far, we have a super sticker, we have tips, and we have a membership. Let's get our first gifted sub of the week over on Kick, because as you can see, the leaderboard is empty. It resets on Sunday, so we have 0. Let's get our first gifted sub of the week over on Kick, or maybe someone wants to become a sub who's not. Let's get our first sub contribution, shall we? Cool. All right, now, let's talk about Minecraft. Friday, I played it for the first time in almost 5 years, and the start of the stream was very slow, meaning I was trying to figure out what to do, and it was cool because they actually spawned me in a biome that I'm not even sure I had ever seen before. I don't know what biome it even was because it kind of looked like a sandy beach, almost a desert, but then immediately we were in like a different biome that had the terracotta and a different kind of tree. So I'm not actually sure what biome or biomes it was that they started me in, but it's very different from my original run in Minecraft many years ago, where they started me in like the grassy savanna biome, which is kind of the standard biome you think of when you think of Minecraft, right? So it was fun, and we immediately found a village, which was really cool. Um, and then we died a ton because I found this crevasse that was full of enemies that wouldn't stop coming out. And some people even surmise maybe that's one of the monster box things is there because there were just so many monsters coming at me nonstop that it stands to reason perhaps there was like a monster spawner in that area. So it was pretty darn good in that regard because it was like a fun start where I died a ton and I raged and everyone enjoyed that. But then the fun part about returning to Minecraft after being away for so long is that it started to click and I started to remember how to play. And by the end of that first stream, which is only a little over 2 hours, like 2.5 hours of gameplay, I had built my first house and got, the lighting there so the monsters can't spawn inside. I built a fence and I started catching the cows/cattle, as well as a camel and some sheep. So we have our first livestock already going. Okay. So it was actually a pretty productive beginning. And so people liked it. People showed up and they watched the videos on demand and said, hey, this is a good return. We're enjoying this so far. So I would enjoy doing it again this week. Let's do a second session of it, shall we? I think that'll be pretty good. So join me later this week when I play Minecraft. We're going to go through the schedule in a second. All right. But it should be a good time as we get further in. Next time, my goal is to start mining because I didn't do any mining last time. And so I need to get, cobblestone. I still need to start to get the metal elements and stuff like that. So we'll probably start digging straight down through the bottom of my house, like build a gate or whatever. So I can go down into the underground and see what's down there. Now, I also need to get food so I'm self-sufficient. So I don't know if I'll do that through the livestock or if I should start building a farm. The thing is, I don't know if I've found any seeds yet for veggies. So until I find some seeds, I don't really know that I can actually start doing the planting and farming yet. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. All right, and go from there. But I'm excited for more Minecraft. It went well. And I'm looking forward to more later this week. Perhaps more people will actually show up now that they've seen the first session. Say, oh, that was pretty good. And the game runs beautifully on my gaming PC. We got all the McDonald's stuff in there, all the different skins and stuff. The only thing is, someone had said that there apparently is a way to enable ray tracing. And I don't know how to do it. There is a checkbox for it, but you can't check it. It's grayed out. I don't know if I need to find the texture pack somewhere else. I don't know how it works. The ray tracing is supposed to be lighting, right? So I don't really know how to do that properly. I would like to try ray tracing for the next stream if we could figure it out. So if you know, let me know, and we'll go from there. Okay. Shall we talk about our week's schedule coming up? I think we should. Okay? So, FYI, here is the schedule so far for the week. Excuse me. That's not the schedule for the week. Hold on. I misclicked. Here we go. What are we playing today? Atomfall? So with Atomfall, my camera should be, let's see, right here. You know what? Let's just do this for now and make my camera bigger because that was for fighting games. I could be much bigger now. There we go. Let's do this for now, and then I'll change it later when we get to the gameplay. So here's the week, except I am here Thursday as well. It's a 5-day streaming week for me this week. I am off on Friday and Saturday, all right? I'm spending some extra time with my wife. As I said, last week was my wedding anniversary. And my wife and I didn't really get to do much besides we did order out some nice sushi that day. But, it was a busy day, a work day. We're going out to celebrate this week. So because of that, I am not here Friday and Saturday. So what are we doing this week? Well, today it's Atomfall continuing on this stream. We're going to have major story progression. We just entered into an intergrade entrance, which are the major story parts of the game. So we're going to go through this intergrade entrance and do it. And then we're going to leave. And I'm going to ask people to tell me where the other intergrade entrances. Because literally the story of Atomfall is find all the intergrade entrances, go in there, put a battery in. And once you've enabled them all, go down to Oberon, and then you make a decision that that's the end of the game. Okay? Now, there's tons of side content in Atomfall, but we're already over 10 hours in, and I'd like to make progress and wrap this game up within the next couple of weeks. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the first part of the story and then try to figure out the other intergrade locations and keep continuing on with the story. All right. Tonight it is Disco Elysium on the late stream. This game has done well on my stream. Surprisingly, it seems that people like the game because it's so different. Now, when I say people like the game, I mean a small group of people. When I stream Disco Elysium, I don't get a big attendance at all. I get a small group of people who show up to engage and support, but we have hit the goals every single time I play Disco Elysium, even with a small viewer base. So it's kind of one of those games. I would compare that to almost Baldur's Gate 3. It's a game that has a dedicated viewer base that want to support the playthrough, even though I know I'm not going to get a ton of views when I play it. So tonight we continue. I actually don't even know where we are in the story. I forgot, but we'll see how it goes. Tomorrow, we're going to do another stream of Blueprints, the new game that's out on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and everything else. The unique stream I did of it on Thursday was fun as heck. It is a game that is a roguelike puzzle game. And here's the fun part. I'm learning more and more about it. People have actually reached out to me and said, so we're not going to spoil, but FYI, literally everything you're seeing in the mansion is a puzzle. Like, for example, every single cork board that has messages posted on it is part of a puzzle. The game doesn't tell you that, but it is. So now whenever I play it again, I'm going to start looking at every wall and try to figure it out, you see? So I'm excited for that. On Monday, I hope you'll join me. And then Monday night, it is Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii Endgame. What I mean by that is we're near the end of the game. We're in chapter 4 of 5, and we're at the end of chapter 4 where all we have to do is the big arena battle against Mortimer. And then I think there may be one more fight against that Samoa Joe guy. And then you get to the end of the game, which is the final treasure hunting on Nele Island and the finale. So we're going to beat it hopefully this week. I'm just going to do major story progress this week, and we're hoping to see if we could just beat it, okay? Tuesday, that's my next Minecraft stream. So if you really enjoyed the Minecraft from Friday, come back on Tuesday. Tuesday night, Black Ops 6 multiplayer. I actually really enjoyed that stream we did last week with the new maps. There were new modes and things I didn't try, like there's a third-person mode and stuff. So maybe we play this and try some different modes and things on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, more Atomfall as we continue to push forward again, story progression. Wednesday night will be more Pirate Yakuza. Thursday, we have a day stream. And we could either do more Blueprints or we could do more Minecraft, and it's all on you guys, whatever you want. So let's see how things go during the week. And if I feel like I'm craving a new Blueprint stream or I want some more Minecraft, that's what we will do on Thursday's daytime stream. Thursday night is Smart Guys, my wrestling commentary show. We did not have it last week because my third and final special guest host could not make it due to an emergency, but they will be here this week. And this will be the pre-WrestleMania show where we will cover all the stuff that happened on Raw and SmackDown last week and this week. Basically what it'll be, rather than play-by-play, I'm just going to summarize the plot lines and what's going on. Go through the WrestleMania card and say, here's the matches, here's what I think of the plot lines up to now. So it'll be a different kind of show rather than play-by-play stuff, because there's no way I could play-by-play 2 weeks of content. It would be too long of a show. And also, this third and final special guest host is going to be a huge surprise. It's going to be a hell of a show. That's all I'm going to say. You're not going to want to miss it, okay? So that's Thursday night, and that's my streaming week. I'm not here Friday or Saturday this week, okay? Next week will again be a full 6-day streaming week. So there you go. Good stuff. Okay. A couple more shout-outs to do. Beaver Bother with a $1.50 tip and a bunch of complaints that I will ignore. Thank you, Beaver Bother, for your support. Really appreciate your positive attitude when I completely ignore your negative message. And I can say it's positive because I don't have to read you bitching or complaining. Thanks a lot. And then Spawn Killer tipped $1.35 and says, would you consider playing Bassmaster or another fishing game? Yes, if you remember, several years ago, I was playing a fishing game. Was it Bassmaster? During the summertime. And this ended up being a good 2 months where, like, once a week we would play this fishing game as a late night chill stream. And it was very entertaining. It was us interacting and talking and having a good time. And we were fishing and catching fish. And if we were hitting support goals, I was adding fishing lures to a fishing hat. It was pretty fun. But, I mean, that was a long time ago. And I don't know if there's any new fishing games or whatever, or if there's one on PC maybe that runs well and looks great. I don't know. You guys tell me. You guys would know better than me, but I would definitely consider that. Maybe for the summer. That's a good summertime thing, I think. Chill fishing streams, right? There you go. All right, so guys, we're at $24 of support. Let's get some momentum going here. How about this? Let's get someone to beat Flatman's $5 tip. Even if it's 501, that's fine. Let's get someone to beat Gamer Stevie J's $10 super chat. It's $9.99, so $10 would beat that. Let's get someone to beat the 1 membership from Big Mac. And let's get our first sub of the day on Kick. We have nothing. Right now, Kick has 0 support. Let's get some there. Because remember, let's get that momentum rolling. Once the momentum is rolling, then it's a lot easier to hit those goals as opposed to, starting from scratch, basically, when I jump into the gameplay portion, right? So let's do it. If I dance, you'll get a membership, Crema de Coco. That's not how it works. If you become a member, I'll dance. How about that? If you become a member, I'll do a dance for you. All right. I thought you were going to watch WrestleMania. I am going to watch WrestleMania. What are you talking about? I am watching WrestleMania. I'm not watching it live. I have a life. I'll be busy on Saturday. I'm not going to have time to watch it live. I'm going to try to catch up to it over Saturday night, Sunday night, so that I could do a special wrestling show on Monday, a wrestling super show, which we'll talk about in a bit. I mean, how could I even watch it? I'm going to be streaming on Sunday. Okay. I never promised I would watch WrestleMania live. That's a complete lie. I never said I was going to do that. All right. So here we go, folks. What we're going to do next is we're going to talk a little bit about Marathon. Okay. So we have two trailers. I see 2 completely different trailers. Where's the source of these? I guess this actually is just on Twitter, huh? Yeah, I guess so. This is only 720p. I want 1080p. That's 1080p. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bungie is finally making another game that's not Destiny. It's called Marathon. It's actually a franchise that they originally made in the 1990s. Then it was abandoned for them to work on Halo, which became an insanely ginormous success. Then they sold off Halo to Microsoft, and then they worked on Destiny for the last decade or so. But now they're finally going to have another IP, and they've brought back Marathon. So what is Marathon? Well, it's a competitive shooter, but the question is, what will it be in the modern era? Will it be online co-op, team looting, shooting? Will it be more like Apex Legends? Will it be like a Destiny thing? I don't know. Let's find out. So there's 2 different trailers that were released. There was a Marathon gameplay trailer, and then I guess there was an extended gameplay overview. So what I'd like to do, let's first watch this 2-minute Marathon gameplay trailer. I'll give you my thoughts on this, and then if we want to watch more of the breakdown in the longer video, we can do that. Okay? All right, so here we go. Marathon.
end of all things. But the dream is not over. My dream. Yours. Now. Run.
I do have a lot to say, but let's wait for it to end, and then I'm going to say some stuff. But let's actually watch it to the end, okay? Okay, that's the video. All right. So the initial impressions, all right, just from watching that raw, I've never seen that before. Okay. Does it not look like a reskinned Destiny to you? Didn't the gameplay elements look like Destiny? Didn't the movement, the gunplay, it looked like Destiny. It didn't look like a different game or franchise. It looked like it was a reskinned Destiny. It looked like what they wanted to do was make it look different. So definitely all of the graphics are different. It's a different visual style, but it looks like Destiny to me. I was looking at some of this, like the sniping looked exactly the same. The punch, when he punched. And the other thing that's weird to me, why did they make a trailer with 30 frames? It's supposed to be a high-end, highly produced AAA competitive shooter. Why is it a 30 frame per second demo video? Is that not weird? Why would they not have this out in 60 frames or higher to showcase what they can do to make it look good? Cinematic quality works if you're doing a cinematic. Do you understand? Like, for example, if that was just showing cutscenes and all the cutscenes were in 30 frames, I would have been like, oh, exciting. But that was, why would even make the video in 30 frames if it's supposed to be showing gameplay? That's a fail to me. Really, that's a fail. They should have only released this in 60 frames. Now, I'm being told it was released on various different formats, and some other places it's showing at 60 frames. Then this shouldn't exist. This video should never been made. Obviously, they rendered it at 30 frames and released it to certain platforms at 30 frames. That should have never happened. You know what I mean? Like, now it makes it look worse than it is, right? So, my initial impressions, it looks like Destiny. It looks like almost like an MMO to me. It doesn't even look like a competitive shooter. Maybe I'm wrong. But every character looked generic, right? Did anyone really stand out? Did anyone look like, oh, that's an important character in the game? No. Everyone just looked very generic to me. Okay. So anyway, so that's the initial 2 minutes. There is a much longer version, a 5-minute trailer. But I'm wondering if there's a place where it's going to be 60 frames. Maybe on YouTube, do you think? So now I'm officially on the Marathon channel on YouTube, and this is at 4K resolution. And watch this, ready? They literally only released this in 30 frames, so everyone was full of crap. It's 30 frames. It's not 60. They only released the gameplay reveal in 30 frames, even on their official YouTube channel at 4K resolution. Look. You gotta love how people make excuses. Oh, that's because you're watching it on X. So I go to the source and it's still 30 frames. So They actively chose to promote the gameplay of their game at a low frame rate. That's bad. The graphics, they look generic. Take a look right now at this still right now. Does that character look like they stand out or look interesting? No, that's bad. So here's the other video. Okay, there's a 5-minute long video. They have all, look, alpha gameplay highlights, people putting on headphones. I don't care about that. Where's the here it is. Here's a 5-minute video. At 4K resolution. It's still at 30 frames. Awful.
Marathon is a team-based extraction shooter set around the mysterious and cutthroat world of Tau Ceti 4.
What does that mean? Extraction shooter, exactly. Does anyone know what that means? I'm not familiar with the term extraction shooter.
You are a runner, a cybernetic mercenary who's given up their human form for a biosynthetic shell with unique abilities and stats, capable of both tactical and fast-paced combat. Here you'll fight in a crew of up to 3 players across a variety of zones and points of interest. You'll face rival runners in zones of up to 18 players, countless security forces, and otherworldly threats.
So it's team-based. You fight both other people and NPCs at the same time. So you're going to be fighting generic guards and aliens, but also other humans, right? Okay.
To scavenge the remains of a lost colony for glory and fortune. The environments of Tau Ceti 4 are filled with weapons, materials, and equipment you can scavenge throughout the map. Before deploying, you'll strategically build your loadout and select a runner to ensure you're equipped for the run ahead. Your objective is simple. Get in, gather as much loot as you can, and make it out alive. Die, and all your gear will be up for grabs. Survive, and your loot can be taken into future runs as you grow in power and fill your vault. Death is inevitable, but it's never the end. Think quickly on your feet and outplay your opponents, and in your next run, you and your teammates will be the ones coming out on top.
So there's no story whatsoever. It's just going to be a repetitive, grindy, jump in with other people, a la, say, Apex Legends. Try to survive, get some loot. Great, good for you. On to the next game. Does it seem that exciting to anyone right now? We're halfway through the video. Does it seem like, wow, it's groundbreakingly different? It's just riveting. I'm so glad that Bungie has broken the mold with this one.
And even if you're down on your luck, factions can sponsor you with a fresh loadout, so you can get right back into the fight. Bungie brings its best-in-class first-person multiplayer action to the fore.
Best-in-class first-person multiplayer action? Who says Bungie is best-in-class? No, best-in-class is Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the best competitive multiplayer FPS game. It sells the most every year. It has the most competitions, everything. You are not best-in-class. It's a completely false statement what they just said right there. I mean, they were best in class in the 2000s with Halo. It's been a long time since then, Bungie. I think you're living in the past.
Forefront, dynamic and tactile gunplay, runners with unique playstyles, and customizable builds create highly dynamic and strategic team fights.
It looks exactly like Destiny. Does the gameplay not look exactly like Destiny? It's exactly the same. You have powers, you have a loadout, and you have different classes you can select. It looks the same. It's the same game.
Whether you're on a zero-to-hero run or high-rolling with powerful gear, you'll need to use your best judgment when you decide which fights to pick and how. Because no matter how geared you are, players with skill and strategy will always have the edge. Marathon is designed to be played in crews, with contextual pings, shared objectives, and down but not out, to streamline playing with your friends.
So it's not an MMO like Destiny was, but it's more like Apex Legends where you want a team of 3 at all times, and if you're coordinated and working together and communicating, it's going to work better than if you're just randoms.
Death is not the end. And if you're the last one standing, you can overcome the odds to revive your teammates and get out with your hard-earned loot. And if you believe your skills alone are enough to conquer any challenge, we give you the freedom to opt out of crew fill to take all the glory for yourself as a solo runner. No 2 runs in Marathon ever play out the same. With dynamic events, variable weather, and unpredictable players, you'll have to adapt on the fly if you want to survive. Each run has a time limit, and anything can happen while you're chasing your objective. Looking to unlock upgrades or increase your faction reputation? Slip into the shadows as Void and ghost past your enemies. Search the map for rare materials and profit opportunities without being discovered. Want to push enemy teams and steal their loot? Bring in Glitch with agility implants and your strongest weapons to disrupt rival crews. Running support for your friends, grab extra equipment, shield charges, and a specialized backpack to be the lifeline they need.
Dude, it's been done before. So let me get this straight. First, they made Halo, which actually was something original. It was bringing a narrative-based first-person shooter experience to consoles and a competitive experience on consoles as well, because up to that point, consoles weren't able to do first-person shooters, right? So Halo innovated. And they just ran with that formula for the longest time, right? Then they made Destiny. And literally Destiny was Halo, but with MMO elements. But it was still Halo. They even admitted, if you ever saw, there's a great documentary that was done about the development of certain games, and Halo was actually one of them. And literally, inside their development rooms, as they were making Destiny, as Destiny was almost done, they looked at the game, and all the people running admitted they just made Halo a second time, and they're like, maybe all we were good at is making Halo, you know? So now here we are, another 10 years later, after Destiny, and they're making Marathon, and you think, oh, Marathon, that's a franchise from the 90s, it'll be something different. It's not. It's literally all the work they've already done up to now, but instead of doing something original, all they're doing is copy-pasting the same assets, the same gameplay elements, all the stuff they already did but from Halo and Destiny, and they're putting it into a team-based survival looter-shooter a la Apex Legends. So again, they're not doing anything new. They're not doing anything original. They're not breaking the mold. They're not even trying. This is low effort, very low end stuff, in my opinion. Even the graphics, oh, they're different. No, they're easy. Take a look. There's no textures on that wall. It's just neon green. There's nothing on it. They purposely made the game low red, like low texture, low detail, probably to make it run better. But I'm going to be honest. It looks bad. All of their preview, this is straight from their YouTube channel at 4K. We're watching 30 frames per second only. So they're refusing to show their game at any kind of a good frame rate. I wonder why. The game looks bad. I don't like the design of the world of the characters. It's underutilized stuff. No textures. Doesn't look good. Right? And the gameplay is straight up copy pasted from stuff they've already done or that others have done. What happened to originality in game development? Really? This is what Bungie is coming up with next? Can I be honest with everyone? If this is all that Bungie can come up with in 2025, I think Bungie should close. I know maybe a lot of people will be upset at that statement, but if all you can do is rehash what you've already done and copy what others have done, then stop making games. Really? Because what's going to happen is people are going to buy this and play it and act like it's good. Dude, it's the same shit you've already played a zillion times. If you can't make something original, fun, and new and different, then don't make crap. We're tired of shovelware, and we're tired of the same games over and over. This is what's everything wrong with the game industry is this right here. Completely uninspired, regurgitated, boring crap.
You're always free to experiment with team compositions, and the only limit to how you want to play.
And you want to know what? Take a look at this character right now on the screen. Do you want to know what this character reminds me of? You ready? There's one word that comes to mind when I look at that character on the screen right now. You ready? Concord. That's exactly what this looks like. This looks like Concord. I knew it looked like something that I had seen before. I just wanted to put my finger on it. It looks exactly like Concord. But here's the funny part. It's Bungie making it. So because it's Bungie, it's okay that it looks like that, right? If it weren't Bungie, it would, oh, this is terrible. This looks woke. This looks like shit. But because Bungie's making it, it's okay. It's okay to make this this weird low res, low frame rate, no detail, rainbow colored crap. It looks like someone took a bunch of Crayola crayons, melted them, and just threw them on the fucking TV, right?
Your runner is your loot and imagination. Endgame challenges, ranked play, discovering secrets, seasonal storytelling, community events, and more. All
It's all literally, it's Apex Legends. They literally made Apex Legends combined with the visuals of Concord and the gameplay elements of Destiny. It's the worst idea ever. It's the most unoriginal crap, and Bungie should stop making video games if this is all they can do. This is awful.
will await you in Season 1, where you and your friends will start to unravel the mysteries of Tau Ceti 4. Remember, you're only ever one run away from your next big score.
Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. There is an audience for it. It's the same people who literally just play the repetitive, grindy style cooperative shooters online. The people who like Destiny will probably like this. The people who like Apex Legends will probably like this. But this is nothing new, nothing original, and nothing that contributes to gaming as a whole. It's just another iteration of the same stuff you've already seen and done. That is one of the most boring announcements I've ever seen in a long time. But again, watch this, mark my words, because it's Bungie, it's okay. Anyone else would have made that, people would have said, meh, no big deal. Or they would have looked at the visuals and said, 30 frames, no detail anywhere, rainbow color palette, it looks terrible. Oh my God, it's all woke, it's DEI. That's exactly what people would say. Oh, look at that. But because Bungie made it, it's the best thing ever, right? It's the freaking, you know. But listen, people like this formula. They like repetitive online grindy shooters. You know, I played Apex Legends for 3 months? And I was winning constantly with the team that I was playing with. And I was like, this is boring now. I don't want to stick around for seasonal content and events. It's the same crap over and over. I've been there, done that. I've seen everything the game has to offer. I'm not going to come back for every new character. I'm done with this. And then I move on. But this game, there are people who get hooked on that formula, right? And they are 100% capitalizing on people who like the repetitive, grindy formula. All right? Super DJC says, this is terrible. Extraction shooters are a worse offshoot of battle royales, which are already played out. A lot of Destiny players won't play this because Destiny focuses on PvE and this is PvP. There you go. Well, here's the deal. Everyone has different tastes. Some people will like that. For me, I look at that and I'm like, that is blah. Like, here's the thing. I can play it. And by the way, people are saying that it's a premium game, meaning it's not free to play. But at the same time, it doesn't sound like they're going to charge full retail price for it. Like, it'll fall somewhere in the middle. Maybe it'll be like a $30, $40 game. I'd be willing to try it. Okay, I would. I'd be willing to try it. But I don't foresee myself wanting to play that more than a few sessions, especially if you play one or two and you win. You're like, I'm just not into that addictive formula like a lot of people are. I feel like unless it's something that's completely original or new or adds a new element. Did you see what was the new element to Marathon? Can you name one thing you saw in the gameplay we just watched? That was 7 minutes of gameplay that we watched together. That you could say, wow, that's different. That's new. That's groundbreaking. That's why I want to play it. No, I saw nothing original at all. I saw elements from other things slapped together with Bungie's name on it. Oh, well, it's Bungie, so now we're going to play it. I think that's lame. It's time to stop. These companies need to stop trying to ride on their previous glory because a lot of companies are doing this now. I mean, look at Bethesda, right? They want us to remember the Elder Scrolls games and the old Fallouts. They don't want us to remember Fallout 76 and Starfield, right? Take a look at Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog wants us to remember the platformers of yesteryear and The Last of Us 1. They don't want us to be thinking about modern stuff that's controversial, right? These companies, they're riding on these previous successes. And now they come, oh my God, BioWare. Holy crap, BioWare, right? That's like, please remember the Mass Effect trilogy. Please remember old Dragon Age games. Because they had nothing. Their new offerings are nowhere near. It's like a shadow of what they used to do. I think Bungie is the same at this point. They don't have any new ideas. So they're just rehashing the same old stuff people have already done or their own concepts, just regurgitated. That is so uninspired. And again, I said it earlier, that is the textbook example of what is wrong with modern game development. If you don't have anything new or original to offer, then stop offering. We don't need an over-bloated gaming landscape of 5,000 samey games that we've already played, but people get hooked on. Instead, we need truly original concepts that advance gaming, that advance the art form, and make us have memorable moments that we will remember forever, rather than the same repetitive moment over and over as a time waster game. And that's my opinion. You can disagree. I don't think that Marathon looks very good right now. Okay? Okay. Some shout-outs to do. Gamer Stevie J did a 5-member bomb here on YouTube. Thank you, Gamer Stevie J. Let's get that on the leaderboard. I appreciate all your support this morning. That gets us up to $39 of support because it's $3 per membership. And I received a $5 tip. Hilarious. Someone tips me $5. This is a good one. This one I got to respond to because this is hilarious. You ready? Let me add this to the leaderboard first, but this is laughable. Here we go. Ready? You run your mouth a lot for someone who's never developed a game before. Ever heard of the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? Instead of being so negative, why not wait for the game to come out first? So let me get this straight. Bungie just released a bunch of promotional gameplay trailers for people to digest to advertise their upcoming game later this year. By the way, it comes out in September. But I'm not supposed to watch and comment on what they offered to promote their game. I'm literally just supposed to kiss Bungie's butt and not be critical of what they put out to advertise their game. What? So, first of all, I'm a lifelong gamer, okay? I've bought a ton of Bungie products in the past, including almost every Halo game, both Destinies, right? I have a track record, 17 years as a gaming creator. Arguably, I've played more games than most people on the internet publicly, okay? I have a track record of being able to review games intelligently, but I'm not allowed to share my opinion. I should just shut up because it's Bungie. Do you have any idea how stupid you sound? What are you saying? They literally put this footage out to start public knowledge of their game so people will start a discourse. It doesn't matter if the discourse is good or bad. The point is there's a discourse about their game now. My opinion on what I just saw is negative. You think I should hold my tongue? That's what they chose to put out. They didn't I didn't make the game. I didn't choose for them to put the trailer out at 30 frames. I didn't choose for them to have a game with no textures or anything in the environment. It's plain, it's bland. I didn't hit the rainbow palette colors. They did. So I have a right to respond to what they put out. If they didn't put anything out and I'm just crapping on Bungie, that's different. I have a right to respond and criticize public materials meant to promote a game that's coming up. If you don't think so, you're really a really weirdo. Like, I don't even know what else to say. That was the whole point of them putting that out. Not everyone is going to kiss the game's butt. Maybe you should, realize that and understand that my opinions are my own, based on 17 years of being a YouTuber, of being a lifelong gamer, on having spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Bungie games in the past. I think I have a right to say what I want. Like, who are you to stifle me and put tape over my mouth that I can't criticize that? It's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. You're sitting on a platform on YouTube or on Kick that's public streaming where people constantly give their opinions, and you're complaining that someone gave an opinion. You ever think that maybe you're in the wrong place? Good Lord. Oh, let's see here. Beaver Bother tipped $1.50, says, well, what's the difference between Marathon and Call of Duty? It's been the same game for over 10 years and you play it every time. So, all right, fair enough. Call of Duty comes out every year without fail. I think there was 1 year, it was a 2-year wait, wasn't it? But every other year it's been a year, and they pump out the same regurgitated game every year, correct? That is true. And each time that they put out a new game, it's a new iteration that has minor tweaks and upgrades. They alternate between different game engines. You have the Black Ops game engine by Treyarch. You have the Modern Warfare game engine by Infinity Ward. And then that weird hybrid that sometimes happens when Sledgehammer gets involved, right? And every year, I play it. That's correct. Okay. Now, what did I say? At the very beginning of that presentation, what did they say? It's time for the best-in-class first-person shooter gameplay. Wrong. Best in class is, who is it that dominates the FPS market every year? It's not Bungie. For some reason, they have this really weird, inflated ego and a misconceived notion that they are best in class for first-person shooters. That's wrong. All right? If you're talking online cooperative stuff, you could probably argue Apex Legends is the one that's had the most resiliency, okay? If you're talking competitive first-person shooter, it's Call of Duty, all right? If you're talking MMO FPS, then you could say Destiny 2, but only when you get to that level. Overall, it is definitely Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the best in class for FPS games. Now, it may not be perfect, and certainly there's lots of things to criticize and say could be improved with Call of Duty. I do it every year. That doesn't mean it's not a good game. If Call of Duty was complete ass, just broken, garbage, not fun to play, would you think I would play it as much as I do? I only play things that I enjoy these days. I don't suffer through crap. I don't. So, yeah, I don't really understand what you're saying. You're saying, oh, well, you play Call of Duty, and Call of Duty comes out every year, and you complain about it. Yeah, but it's still fun. It's still good. The little tweaks that they make are interesting. I just played that Ninja Turtles event. That was super fun. So they're obviously doing something right. They're not perfect, but they're at least, interesting in that regard. I would argue with Bungie only putting out a game every few years. They have Destiny. First there was Halo, then a bunch of different Halos, then Destiny, then all the DLCs, then Destiny 2 and all the DLCs, and now Marathon. You would think that they would do something different. Even if you take a look at 10 years of Call of Duty, you can argue that the Call of Duty games that were coming out in 2015 are pretty different from the Call of Duty games that come out today, right? The evolution of zombies, the evolution of Battle Royale with Warzone, and the multiplayer and how that's advanced. It's not just one product over and over. But Bungie just regurgitates the same content over and over and presents it as new products when it's not. They're still making Halo. You understand that Marathon is still Halo. It's just a different skin and a different way to play it, but it's still Halo. Here we are 25 plus years later, they're making the same game again. It seems like that's all they can do. Anyway. Let's see here. I got a $2 tip. Someone says, look at Larian Studios. They just put out a DLC size patch for free. They added 12 new subclasses, one for each class in the game, and 48 pages of patch notes, all for free. More devs should take after that. Listen, as much as I criticized Baldur's Gate 3 for things that I felt were shortcomings or missteps, there is absolutely no way that I could sit here as a gamer and say to you, that's a bad game. There's no way that I could sit here and say to you, that's a game that's samey. That game felt unique. It did. It felt different. It felt like it stood out. It was the master class of that style of RPG. It may not be my favorite style of RPG, but that game stood out among the rest for its incredible level of content, its execution. There's so many different characters, all that stuff. You know what I mean? You can acknowledge and recognize greatness while also criticizing it if it's not your cup of tea, right? But this marathon looks like there is absolutely nothing of substance to it. That looks like the ultimate fluff piece game. Just regurgitate the same crap over and over. You know, I'm not going to say that looks good. It doesn't. That looks poor. That looks piss poor. They couldn't even show their game at higher than 30 frames per second in 2025. I want you to think about that. That was their choice, to show off that game at 30 frames per second. Like, we're supposed to accept that a modern game that you're going to pay for is going to run at 30 frames on modern platforms. No, I'm not accepting that. If the game runs at 30 frames, then I'm not playing it. Bungie is so off base. Someone needs to give them a fucking wake-up call. Maybe this will be it. Maybe no one will buy this game. I mean, something has to happen because this is pathetic, quite frankly. Okay. Anyway, so guys, that's what I had for today's show. Pretty packed show, right? We covered a lot of topics. It was a pretty good one, I feel. I'm finally, for the first time in ages, I'm going to make a highlight clip of me watching Marathon and responding to it. So that should be a new video, an interesting one that hopefully people will watch. And hopefully enjoy. But outside of that, it's been a great show. Please, if you haven't yet, support this stream. I would love to hit at least $50, if not higher, by the end of this podcast. So that way we only have the 100 to cover while I'm playing Adamfall. So if you haven't yet, please support the stream. But what do you guys want to talk about? Tag me in chat. We'll do a little bit of Q&A till the end of the show. Okay? That's Whack says, I think people might see this game as an opportunity to be good at a game that produces some content. Well, you're right. If you take a look at games like Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, all these team-based shooters that are cooperative online, stuff, competitive stuff, you're absolutely right. They are huge for content creation, right? People can make strategy videos, update videos when the game is tweaked and has a new weapon or a new thing happening, a new skin, a new character build, a new mode. They are huge for content creation. I agree there. But it's 2025. This is, you know what I mean? Like, they are so late to the game making this game. This is like, that fad should be on the way out. And there should be games that are still successful at doing it. The ones that have been going all along that have been successful. Like, I would expect a game like Apex Legends or whatever is going to continue to be good. Because, they're the ones who are the industry leaders. But there's a bunch of other extraction shooters. There's a bunch of other team-based shooters. There's already these games that have the content. We don't need another one in 2025. Did you even hear anyone asking for it? Did you hear anyone saying, man, I really hope that Bungie could make an extraction shooter because we just don't have enough of those and we need this company that's best in class FPS development to make one for us? I don't recall that. at all. If anything, I'm shocked. I thought maybe they would make another game that could be their next Halo, and they're just not doing that. I still don't know what an extraction shooter is. Gamer Stevie J with a $5 super chat says, "Let's go, Chris. Good, cool background fill." I don't know who Chris is, but thank you, Stevie J. And wait, now Gamer Chris did a $20 super chat, huh? That's weird. It's weird because Gamer Stevie J, his super chat looked like he was responding to Chris, but Chris's super chat came in second. I don't know. Anyway, Gamer Stevie J did a $5 super chat and said, "Let's go, Chris. Wow, cool background fill. Thank you." This is actually the Ninja Turtles background. This is the Ninja Turtles colors, but it's a cool, unique thing that kind of just goes crazy and alternates between them. And I used it like over a month ago, and I really liked it. I saved it. So I said, I'll pull this out every once in a while. I think that this background actually looks pretty good. So thank you for that. Now we are at $52 to support. And then we have Gamer Chris with a $20 super chat. He says, "Hey, DSP and everyone today. I hope you have a good day. It's awesome coming to the stream. You're a cool and funny person. Thank you, Gamer Chris." Thank you for that. That is the biggest super chat of the day. And that gets to $72 of support. Thank you, thank you. Extraction shooters are, for example, games like Escape from Tarkov or Hunt Showdown. What about the one from last year that I've totally forgotten because we haven't played it in ages? The one that's like Starship Troopers. What's it called? I've totally forgotten its name. That one, you drop down, you do objectives, and then you escape. Is that considered an extraction shooter? Helldivers. Yeah, is that considered an extraction shooter? So I never played Escape from Tarkov or Hunt Showdown. No, it's not. Well, then I guess I've actually probably never played an extraction shooter. You extract in the game, but it's not an extraction shooter. Helldivers isn't PvP. So, okay, so there's different elements. So PvP is one element. Escaping is another element. Warzone DMZ is an extraction shooter. Oh, confused. I'm so confused. I never played Predator Hunting Ground, so I don't know. Hello, Kickapoo over on Kick. How you doing? The point of extraction is similar to a battle royale. Apex Legends is not a bad comparison. Escape, loot, PvP, PvE. Okay. But still, I mean, there's a bunch of them. And I think that's the point I'm making here. They're literally not trying to do anything original. It's like, here's our take on something that's already been done to death. We don't need your take on something that's been done to death. We want something new. We're tired of the samey shit made for money. Because that's the problem. Let's think about it realistically here. When you play a game that has a unique story, interesting gameplay elements, great graphics, so stuff that's considered groundbreaking, right? You say that is a game that, yes, that's a product for sale, but it's a game that's meant to change gaming culture. It's meant to add something to the community, to the voice as a whole. It's meant to do something that's going to resonate, right? When you make a game that's just, it's our take on something else that's been done to death, you've done it for money. And that's literally it. You didn't make that game because you felt like it was artistic or it's going to be memorable or anything. You just pumped something out as a product for people to consume. And that's a problem. And I'm not saying that there's not a room in gaming for that. I'm saying that there's too much of that now. There's just too much of the samey, we did this for profits, rather than we did it to do something different and creative that's memorable and adds to your overall culture. Because that's the truth. What will Marathon do for gaming culture, honestly? It'll just be another co-op shooter that you play with your buddies, and you know, it's a social thing, but that's it. It does nothing for gaming culture. Tired of it. You know, I just want something that's original and new and different that I can play, and it's wow. Again, it used to be a time when AAA studios would put out a game, and every time they put out a game, you're like, wow, that looks great. That's must play. That's a banger. That's a guaranteed hit. That's a cannot miss. Let's do it. That's going to be game of the year stuff. Here we go. Right? And now it's like, oh, Bungie put out a new game. Let's take a look at it. What the fuck? It's the same shit again we've seen? What is this? And why does it look like shit? You know, of anything, the best way I could describe it, it's disappointment. It's just disappointment at people that could do better, or maybe at one point they did do better. Maybe they can't anymore. Maybe they've lost their way. They have no creative juice left. So instead, they just pump out the samey shit because they just can't make interesting stuff anymore. If so, that's really fucking sad. Am I going to give it a shot? I don't know. I know it comes out in September. I didn't write the date down. Does anyone know the actual date? I think it says here September 23rd, right? I'll put it on the calendar. There's like a million factors here, right? Like, I wouldn't want to give them $70 for that game. Let's see, August, September. Here we go. I seriously would not want to give them $70+ for that game. They're claiming it's a premium game you must pay for, but it's not going to be a full-priced game. So it lands somewhere in the middle, right? I would maybe give it a shot, but again, a game like that, do I see it hooking me and being something that I want to play more than a few times? I mean, Apex Legends, I played and I liked it. And I played it with a group of people. We were dedicated, and we played for like once or twice a week. And we did it for a few weeks to a month. And we beat the game. Like, basically, we were winning constantly or placing high. And we did it. It was like, yeah, I've had enough. I've seen enough. I've had enough. I'm not one of those guys that gets hooked on that repetitive formula. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not. So I don't see it being a game that I'm going to go crazy for. No, don't see it. No, I never played Classic Marathon from the 90s. I started playing PC games around the mid-90s, and I caught up with games like Doom and Duke Nukem and stuff like that, and I started playing Quake and Unreal Tournament, stuff like that. The earlier games I did not play, and Marathon was one of them. It was Mac only? Oh, I never had a Mac. I didn't know that. Okay. I've never played Jet Set Radio, no. I've heard of it and I know of it. I've never played it myself, so I don't know much about it. Thoughts on the WrestleMania card? You know, I haven't really sat down and looked at it yet. So I'm going to probably watch SmackDown the next day or two. I'm going to watch Raw soon. So what I'm going to do for smart guys this week, I'm going to have the whole WrestleMania card laid out, and I'll be able to just comment, because I think that's the better way to go about it, rather than saying, hey, here's SmackDown from 2 weeks ago. Here's SmackDown from this week. Here's everything that happened. Here's Raw from 2 weeks ago. Here's Raw. I think the better way to do it would be just to say, let's look at the WrestleMania card. Let's go through each match and the build-up it's had and the plot line behind it. What do I think about it? Is it an interesting storyline? And what do I think the match will be like? That's probably the better way to do Smart Guys this week. So it'll be a different format this week for sure. But I think it's a better way to tackle it because I'm covering 2 weeks of content. And this is the WrestleMania pre-build-up show. So once I do that, that'll be Thursday night show. I don't have the card in front of me to comment on, so. No, I never really considered Escape from Tarkov. You know, Escape from Tarkov originally, I believe, was a PC exclusive. I do believe at this point now it has been ported to consoles, but it doesn't matter. I have a PC now. The thing is, I'm jumping on too late. Maybe if you know, I was a PC gamer when it came out, I would have given it a shot and jumped into it. But I'm just like so many years after the fact that I'm not too interested. No, Devontae Brown, if you want my honest, truthful opinion, he says, are you going to continue with reviewing The Last of Us TV show? Season 2 premieres tonight. I'm curious if the second game story translates to the TV medium and how non-gamers react to the big moment. I don't care. To be frank with you, The Last of Us 1 show started off strong and by the end was not very good. I feel like by the end of season 1, it had lost its way too much in not even having enough zombies in the show, and instead a bunch of, drama, pushing narratives, dumb shit. So by the end, I actually was completely turned off by it. Okay. Season 2 is the awful plot of Last of Us 2. I already know the plot sucks. I really don't want to force myself to relive the plot of that awful game again in a TV form. And it's going to probably be worse because if you look, they totally pushed these left-leaning liberal narratives in The Last of Us Season 1, an entire episode based on the relationship between two guys that were a part of the story of the game as a backstory for one character who you see in one chapter and then they move on. It's not the main story. In the TV show, they made it an entire fucking episode for no reason. It has nothing to do with the show. So, do I want to watch season 2? No, I don't. It's probably going to be terrible. It's going to be even worse in that way. I just don't care. I don't care for it at all. Last year, I was interested in reviewing these shows. This year, I'm really not, to be honest. I'm not into it, not into watching it and reviewing this stuff. I actually saw some funny takes on X about the actress who plays Ellie, because they were like, so she kind of worked in season 1 because at that point Ellie is supposed to be a kid, but in season 2, which is the equivalent of Last of Us 2, it's supposed to be many years later and she's grown up and she's supposed to be like a bigger Ellie. Now it's weird because in the game she has the same face, which is fucking bizarre. It's literally a child's face on an adult's body and it just doesn't work. It's very weird. It's one of the things I called out when playing Last of Us 2, that you don't keep your childlike face when you grow up. Your face changes and matures. Why they kept her the same face, it makes no sense. Like, they don't even understand how humans fucking evolve and age. I mean, they're game developers, right? But the funny part is the actress who played Ellie in season 1 is playing her in season 2, and now she's supposed to be older and she's supposed to be like a killer, right? Like the whole idea of season 2 is revenge. I'm going on this murder spree to avenge the murder of Joel. And people are saying, who are watching it now, they're like, it doesn't work. She was convincing in season 1, but in season 2 as a killer, she looks like a child. A child is going around slaughtering adults. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, no child would be able to do that. Because the thing is, she hasn't grown since season 1. I guess whatever her body type is, her body is one of those that doesn't really develop. So she just looks like a kid endlessly. It's like, how did this child go around murdering all these people in season 2? It doesn't work. It falls on its face. So, I don't know. I don't really care for it. I don't like torture porn. That's really what it is. It's like torture porn. It's like, oh, look, people are brutally murdering each other for no actual valid reasons. They're just morons, full of emotion, every character changed from season 1, all, dumb shit. So I don't want to put myself through it again. I've had enough. I was tortured playing the game. I don't need to torture myself further watching something equally bad. Yes, I'm going to get the new Capcom collection, The Villain. I'm probably going to hate it because it's not cross-platform, and it probably will have bad online connections again with the same shitty netcode, but I'm interested in playing CVS 2 and maybe 1 or 2 others of the games in there, so. No, I didn't do anything different with my hair today. Nope. Same hairstyle, just, I haven't got a haircut in a while. I believe that my wife did schedule our haircut appointments. I don't know when, but we'll probably be getting a haircut soon, hopefully. Probably what is, the hair's grown out now. Yes, the dolphin animation I added to the frame is the Minecraft dolphin. I added a few different Minecraft there it is. I added a few different Minecraft animations to the digital frame to celebrate the return of Minecraft to the rotation. I think the new Donkey Kong looks pretty good. It does. It looks good to me. I told you it reminded me of it reminds me of Knack, when Knack first came out, how all the environments were destructible and things would break down, right? That's how it looks, where you're going to be digging and punching walls and doing things, looking for items and stuff while digging, and it looks interesting in that regard. Anything else, or are we done? Did I play King of Fighter on PlayStation or in arcade? I played it in arcades 94 through 98. And then, no, 94 through 97. 98 never hit my local arcade. That's when I played the home version. I think I owned it on PlayStation. Then they weren't even available anymore unless you imported. So I ended up emulating like King of Fighters 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. I emulated all of those. And then after that, it went on hiatus. It came back many years later in arcades again, but I didn't play them at that point. And then I played the last two. I played the console versions, and I didn't like them at all. Okay. Well, guys, thank you for a great podcast. Thank you for the early support. I appreciate you very much. That is awesome of you. Thanks for all of the good stuff today. Remember, it is a new week ahead of us, my friends. Good stuff coming. Continuing playthroughs, chill vibes, all kinds of good stuff. And I wish you the best. I hope that you'll join me tomorrow when, of course, we'll talk about how Atomfall went and also how Disco Elysium continued and any new gaming news or anything of the like. Thank you guys for watching the Level 1 Podcast. I will see you Monday. Peace out.